This conference will now be recorded.
In the previous session, we developed a search page by using Visualforce pages. Okay. In the previous page, in classic version, we developed a search page, okay, search page, okay, by using Visualforce pages, by using Visualforce page. This is my search page. Entity search is a tab. Entity search is a tab which internally calls my Visualforce page. See here, entity search is a tab. It's a Visualforce page tab. Whenever we will click on this particular tab, internally calls our Visualforce page. What is my Visualforce page name? See here. This is my Visualforce page name. Okay, this is my Visualforce page name. VF page. This is my Visualforce page name, which internally calls my Visualforce page. Suppose user will enter some text here and click on the search button. Click on the search button. Then it will display all the accounts where name is equals to text. All the accounts where name is equals to text. Okay, this is our requirement. This is our requirement. In the previous session, we discussed this example and we developed this example by using Visualforce page and associated Apex class. So this is my Visualforce page. Okay, now go to developer console. We have to open the corresponding Apex class. So we have to open the corresponding Apex class. Go to file, open resource, and see, this is my Visualforce page. This is my Visualforce page. In this Visualforce page, by using this Apex class, see, this is my Apex class. By using this Apex class, we implemented business logic. Okay, we implemented business logic. In the classic version, we developed a search page. This is a search page, and here you will enter a text here and click on the submit button. Then what happened internally, our request, it will go to the server. From the server, what we are doing, we are calling one Apex class. That Apex class, technically we will call it as a controller. Okay, technically we will call it as a controller. Here we are performing our business logic. Finally we are giving a result to the server. From the server we are trying to displaying in the Visualforce page, in the UI. That is nothing but Visualforce page. So this is UI. We developed a user interface by using Visualforce page. Now in the Lightning version, coming into the Lightning version, in the Lightning version we are trying to developing the same UI. Okay, in the Lightning version we are trying to developing, one second here, Apex class. Okay, Apex class is, we go to here, and this is my Apex class. Okay, this is my Apex class. Now coming into Lightning, in Lightning version, we are trying to developing the same user interface by using Aura framework. Okay, by using Aura framework. We have LWC is also there. By using LWC, Lightning Web Component also, we will develop the user interface. Okay, we will develop the user interface. When we will go with the Lightning Aura and when we will go with the web component, that is completely depends on our client. For this requirement it is possible with the Lightning Aura. For this requirement it is possible with the Lightning Web Component. It is not like that. Okay, suppose we want to develop a user interface in Lightning, two ways. One is Aura framework and another one is LWC, Lightning Web Component. So Aura framework, when we will go, that is nothing but completely based on the client. Here we are developing lightning component, lightning component by using Aura framework. Why we will call it as a framework? Why we will call it as a framework? When we will click on this button, whenever we are trying to developing a lightning component by using Aura framework, when we will click on the button, it is automatically going into the particular controller. From the controller we are passing our request to the helper. Okay, it's already designed, we are using that one, it's already designed. It's already designed. We are using that one. Okay. Now we are trying to developing our application by using Aura framework. How to create a lightning component? How to create lightning component by using Aura framework. How we are going to create? There are two ways. Okay, but by using LWC, only one way. By using Aura framework, two ways are there. One is by using developer console, by using developer console, okay, developer console, and another one is by using VS Code, by using Visual Studio Code, okay, Visual Studio Code, by using Visual Studio Code. But whenever we are coming into LWC, how to create a lightning component by using LWC. Lightning web component is nothing but one way only. That is nothing but by using Visual Studio Code, by using Visual Studio Code, VS Code. We will call it as a VS Code. Okay, VS Code. Remember all these things. We have to remember. Okay. Now we are trying to developing a lightning component by using Aura framework. What is our functionality? This is our functionality. Okay. This is our functionality. So how to create a lightning component is nothing but here I am using developer console. So from the developer console, go to file, click on this new button. See here how many Apex classes is there, Apex trigger is there, Visual Force page is there, component, static resource, application, component, interface, lightning event tokens are there. We are trying to creating a lightning component. Yes, what is your lightning component name? Search lightning component, search lightning component, and here some name, okay, some name, any name, okay, any name. Here I am using my lightning component name, and here one more thing, this is also called a lightning bundle. This is also called a lightning bundle. Now here you have to observe, you are trying to developing a lightning component where we are using this lightning component. Okay, where we are using, the system it is asking, the system it is asking where we are using this lightning component. Okay, so you are making this lightning component as a tab, and you are making this lightning component as a record page or all pages or communities or quick action. If you want, you will just go and select 5 interfaces. If you will not select any interface, after that you will also go and add it as our wish, as our wish. So these are 5 interfaces. What is the purpose of each interface is nothing but where we are using this lightning component as a tab or as a page. I mean home page, app page, record page. Here record page only, communities, quick actions. Click on the submit button. Then it will redirecting into this particular screen. The first one here, the observation is it is a bundles here. It is a combination of 8 items. We created one lightning component, and my lightning component name is nothing but search lightning component underscore batch 05, and it is a combination of 8 items. 8 items. One is component, and another one is controller, and another one is helper style. We will discuss each and everything. So finally, lightning component, whenever we are trying to developing by using Aura, it is a combination of 8 items. Okay, it is a combination of 8 items. Everything is same. See here, here we are trying to developing a lightning component, but here this is a combination of 8 items. Component, controller, helper. Here we are using, whenever from the helper we are passing our request to the server. From the server it is calling a business logic which we are writing inside Apex class. So this is Apex class. So instead of Visual Force pages, instead of VF tags, we are using Lightning Aura, Lightning text plus Aura text. So other than that, server side means Apex class, business logic, everything is same. Everything is same. Now coming into here, lightning component bundle is a combination of 8 items. Okay, we have to remember these items. Now coming into here, we created one component, right? While creating a component, what is the first tag? Aura colon component. This is the first tag here. Aura colon component. What is the Aura here? We are developing a lightning component by using Aura framework. That's why the root tag is nothing but Aura. Aura component Aura component, this is a open tag, this is a closing tag. Then the next one is nothing but where we are using this component. Where we are using this component is nothing but by using implements interface. App hostable is nothing but we are using this lightning component as a tab. Suppose we want to use this component as a record page or all pages, then for each and every interface, you go to each and every interface. Okay, this is one interface and this is one interface we are using as a community. See, this is one interface and we are using this one as a quick action. So finally the access modifier is nothing but global. By default we are using the same access modifier. So we created one lightning component. Lightning component is a combination of 8 items, and the next one is while creating a lightning component we have to select where we are using this lightning component. So the system automatically produces some interface based on the checkbox. Okay, suppose we will not select, what it will happen? Yes, as your wish. Once you created lightning component, after that you will come to here and you will use whatever the interface you want by using implements. These are the interfaces, that's why here we are using implement keyword. This is the first one. This is the first one. Now what is our target? What is our target? We have to develop a search box, right? We have to develop a search page, we have to develop a search box. So here 8 items are there. Where we will write? Where we will write? I want to take the data from the user. So which data we want to take? Some text data I want to take. So how? In which component? 8 items are there. In which item we will take that data? So the first item in the component level only, we will take the data from the user and we will display the data to the user. And suppose we want to store the data temporarily into the attributes, everything we have to do in the first item. The first item name is nothing but component. So finally lightning component is a combination of 8 items. What is the first item? Component. What is the purpose of the component? To take the data from the user or to display the data to the user. Suppose we want to store the data temporarily into the attributes, then we will do everything in the at the item one. That item name one is nothing but a component. Now what is our target? We have to take the data from the user. How to take the data from the user? We have to develop a text box. So what is the tag for the text box? Go to the lightning component library. Okay, go to the lightning component library. Lightning component library Salesforce. Okay, go to lightning component library. Our target is we have to develop a search box. Sorry, we have to develop a text box with a command button. So here whenever we will open lightning component library, this is a component library, means here it will show all the tags. And we have developer guide is also there. Lightning web component developer guide is there. Lightning aura component developer guide is there. Developer guide is nothing but it will provide each and every information in this lightning aura. We are these functions are using, this is the business, every information is there, that is relate completely documentation. Here it contain only tags. Here it contain only tags. You want to develop a text box by using lightning web component or lightning aura? We are trying to developing by using lightning aura, right? Go to here aura, click on this one, scroll down here, scroll down. So input type is equals to text, right? Go to here, text box only we want, right? Click on the text box. Whenever we click on this text box, it will ask which format you want. Suppose we want in this format, means what is the sample code here? Scroll down here, this is the sample code, this is the sample code. So we are trying to creating one text box. See, now go to here, lightning input. See, type is equals to text, type is equals to text. And what is our label name? What is our label name? Enter account name, right? Enter account name. So this is my text, this is my text box, this is my text box. Then what about the next one? So we need a command button, right? We need a command button. Now again go to here, we need a button. Where is our button? Lightning colon button is there, right? Click on this one, click on this one. Which type of button we want? I am using brand button, I am using brand button. Suppose you want to some other types, means here in the examples are there. Click on this one, disable buttons, buttons with icons. Okay, which format you want? I want basic buttons. Click on this one, brand is there, right? See the third one, I want my button in this format, in this format. Suppose in the project we are working, and they are asking the buttons page, generally everyone will use this format only, the brand format only. Now I am taking that brand format. What is the sample code? This is the sample code. This is the sample code. Lightning colon button variant is equals to brand, label is equals to search. What about the remaining thing? Forget about this one, forget about this one, we will see later. Okay, click on this one. See, I'm trying to saving this one, I'm trying to save this one. See, here you have to observe, star mark is there, right? Star mark is there, right? For example, I am missing something like this, I am missing something, I am trying to save this one. Control yes, it will show here, or it will show in the problems, it will show in the problems. It is a syntax errors, right? So it is not allowing us to save, it will not save. See here, otherwise sometimes it will show in the problems. How to save this one is nothing but control yes. Control is once. How we know whether it is saved or not is nothing but, see here, it is not showing with the star. So star is not there means this file has been saved, this file has been saved. So we developed one text box. See here, we developed one text box. This is where we created one lightning component. In this lightning component, how many items are there? The first item is nothing but component, the second item is nothing but controller. See, the second item is nothing but controller, and the third item is what? The third item is nothing but helper. The third item is nothing but helper. The first item is nothing but component. Where we are working, in the component level we are working, what we are doing. So we created one text box. Along with this text box, we created one command button. We created one command button. So what is my next step? Suppose user will enter some text here. Based on that text we have to perform, right? Based on that text we have to perform, right? So this text we have to store somewhere. So this text we have to store somewhere. Where we have to store? Into the attributes. So the next one is I will just go on to declare one attribute. How to declare an attribute? Aura colon attribute, aura colon attribute, name is equals to and such name, anything. This is a variable name. Type is equals to string, type is equals to string. See here, type is equal string. We declared one variable, what is this? What is the format like? So public. See here, public, this is my variable name, this is my variable name, and here type is nothing but string, right? This is nothing but string, this is nothing but string. Like getters and setters, forget about this getters and the same thing. This is my variable name, this is my variable name, and here the data type is nothing but a string. But here which tag we are using? Lightning tag, or we are using aura tag? Aura tag here we are using, aura tag here we are using. How many types of variables? Suppose we need that information is nothing but, go to here, aura attribute, attribute. See, aura attribute, you can type it here, go to here, we will find everything is in the documentation, no need to remember any syntaxes. Okay, aura attribute in lightning. Okay, in lightning supported aura attributes, go to here. See how many attributes are there, how many attributes it will support. Attribute types, basic types, go to here, basic types. Here you have to observe boolean type, aura colon attribute, name is equals to, this is a variable name, this variable is a boolean type, and this is a variable name, this is a date type, this is a variable name, this is a date time. Decimal is nothing but it's a currency. See here, and the next one is double, and this is integer type, and this is a long type, and this is a string type, right? This is a string type. Okay, now coming into here, now so we are using the same syntax, right? Aura colon
Sir,
attribute.
and
Yes, yes, Guru.
sir, why you should keep the colon in input text?
Where input type is equal to enter account name here, right? You are asking.
Sir, why you kept the colon?
This is remove this one, it doesn't matter. I mean, I want my text box like this. Okay, enter account name
Okay,
or
okay,
some. It's not mandatory.
okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. Uh,
so
But it didn't show the error, sir.
Which one, Guru?
When you put the colon, it didn't show the error, sir. Why, sir?
No, it doesn't show. It is inside a string, right? In the string, whatever we
Okay,
want, I
okay.
will put like this. Whatever we want, we will just go and put like this. This is inside string. This is my label name. We can provide any name here. Anything, any special characters or anything, it doesn't matter.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
So these are the attributes. So here we are using attribute. Okay, we are using attribute. So now what is my next step? User, he will enter data right here. User, he will enter data right. User, he will enter data in this text box. That data, on that data only we have to perform right our operation. Our target is we have to take something from the user. Once you will take something from the user, you have to perform your operation on that something. Something is nothing but here text. You have to take the data from the user. You have to take the text data from the user. Text means any data you have to take it. Once you will take the data from the user, we will perform our operation, search operation or some other operation on that data. On that data means we have to store that data temporarily. We have to store that data temporarily. So user he will enter the data, that data directly we have to pass. It is not like that. User he will enter something, that data we have to store temporarily. Temporarily we have to store. How to store temporarily is nothing but we will just go and use attributes here. Aura colon attribute name is equals to any name here, type is equal to string, and the next one is here, and the next one is we have to tell to this text box user whatever he will enter here, right? That data we are storing into this particular variable v dot search name, v dot search name. So we are telling to this text box whatever you are entering, right? I will store into one variable. That where is that variable? That variable name is nothing but this one. This variable type is nothing but a string. How we are telling to this text box? We are using value attribute. Here v means value provider. Value provider. So this is for variable purpose. Variable calling, we will just go and use it. We will just go and use it here. Okay, we are using value provider. We are telling to this text box whatever user entered, right? That data I will store into this particular variable. Why we have to store? Based on that data only, right? I want to perform some operation, so we should store in any application, not only in our Salesforce. Whatever user entered data, right, first take that data and store in somewhere for temporarily. Here we are using attributes. In the classic version Apex classes, what we are using, we are doing variables, right? Here we are using attributes. Okay, so now we are taking the data from the user and we are storing that data into that particular attribute, then what is my next step? User click on the command button. User click on the command button, then what we have to do? Our request we have to pass into the controller. Why we have to pass our request to the controller? Why we will not pass our request to the helper? Means this is a framework, that's why we will call it as a framework. They design like that. Any event occurred in the component level, any event occurred in the first component, then we will pass our request to the second component. My second component name is nothing but controller only. You should always pass our request to the second component. The second component name is nothing but controller. So how to pass? So here I will just go and click on the command button. So here we will just go and use attribute. We will just go and use attribute. Go to here, on click is there, right? On click. So in the command button, whenever user click on this particular button, we are using on click. On click is equals to, we are telling to this button you have to call this particular method, and it is asking where is this method. This method is it the C means controller. Which controller? Client side controller. In the second component name is nothing but controller. In the controller we have one method, or we will call it as a function. You have to call that function whenever any user click on this particular search button. So what I will do is I am trying to save this one. I'm trying to save this one. So here I'm just using search controller. Okay, my method name is nothing but search controller. So search controller. Now I'm copying this method. I'm copying this method. Go to the second component. Second component name is what? So when user click on this particular click button, wherever request it will go to controller. Why it will go to the controller? This is a framework. Framework means they will design like that only. Any event occurred, then you have to first go to this particular place. That place here we will call it as a controller. So when any clicks on this particular search button, it will go to one method or function. What is that method or function? We will call it as a search controller. And where it is nothing but it is in the client side. That is nothing but second item. Here we will call it as a function. Why we will call it as a function? Because of the second item is completely JavaScript file. See, here you have to observe the extension is .js. That is nothing but JavaScript file. JavaScript. The third item is also a JavaScript file. This is completely in the second item and the third item, whatever the code we are writing, right? That is completely JavaScript code only. That is completely JavaScript code. That's why here instead of method we will call it as a function. Instead of method we will call it as a function. So when user click on this particular button, so click, that's why I'm using on click. Whenever user click on this particular button, where it will go to, we are telling to this particular button you have to go to one function is there. Here we have one function, you have to go to that particular function. So what is this function name? That function name is nothing but search controller. See, here also I'm using the same name, right? We have to use the is there any format for this? I mean, function name, there is no format. Method names we can use anything, right? Class name we can use anything, right? Names anything we have to use it. Okay, names anything, here we have used it. Then now coming into it is taking three parameters. Is it mandatory we have to use the same names, same parameters we have to use? No, it is not like that. Based on our comfort. Okay, here by default three things are there. Everyone will keep these three things. Suppose you want to remove, you will just go and remove also, it doesn't matter. Now what I will do, I will pass my request from the second component to the third component. Why we have to pass my request to the second component to the third component? From the controller to the helper, why we have to call? Here server is there, right? From the server side apex class is there, right? Why we will not call from the second item only? We have an option. If you want, you will also call from the second item. You have to make a request a server. From the server you have to call your controller and method from the second item. But generally everyone will use the third item. The third item is nothing but helper. Why we will use the third item? From the third item only everyone will call apex method. Why? What is the reason? Is nothing but reusability. It will come into picture. Reusability in the sense means, suppose I have 100 lines of code or 10 lines of code. That piece of code I want to use in some other lightning component. There is no relationship between this component and that component. So how we will use? Suppose we will write our code inside the second component. No, there is no option. Suppose we will use that code inside here. Yes, there is an option. This is only the reason. Other than that, it's not like a performance like that. So we have to say from the controller we will call our server side apex class, and from the helper also we will call an apex class. What is the reason? Means this is the reason. Suppose we will use we have some piece of code. That code we have to use in another component also. Reusability. Whenever we will write a piece of code in the third item, then only we can reuse. Suppose we will use in the controller. Okay, then it's not possible to reuse. Okay, that is the main reason. Here we are using from the third item. So our request, I'm passing my request to the third item. The third item is nothing but helper. In the helper also I will just go and create one method. Go to here, helper dot search any name, search controller helper. I'm using, this is my function name. While passing, I will just go and pass these three parameters. Okay, these three parameters. Now, see, this is not yet saved. This file, the second file is not yet saved. How we know this is not yet saved is nothing but, see, this is with the star mark, right? Now you have to go to your keyboard and you have to use control. Yes, it is saved. How we know? Means there is no star mark. If any problems while saving, in the sense means it will show here under problems, it will show. So we are passing our request to the helper. Go to the helper. The third item you have to go to the helper. This is the third item. The third item, what it will take? Again, I am passing the same parameters. Is it mandated to pass the same parameter with the same name? No, it is not mandatory. If you want, you can pass. If you want, you can also rename here. If you want, you can also rename here. So we are coming into the third item. We are coming into the third item. So our request is coming into the third item or not. How we will check? We have two options are there. One is alert box. Alert box. Enter into helper. Enter into helper. It will show some alert box. But the best practice is we have to use console.log. Okay, console.logs. This is client side debug statements. Okay, server side debug statement system.debug, right? Server side debug statement system.debug. In the client side, you are developing a lightning component or lightning LWC. You are trying to developing how to debug. How to debug means it is going into debug in the sense means it is going into this particular line or not. How we are going to debug? We will use alert boxes or console.log. So is it best practice to use alert boxes? No, that is whenever our application is completed, so and we are giving to the client, that time we have to remove the alert boxes. We have to remove the alert box. No need, we can add the console.log, no issues. What I'm trying to say is, while developing, for our understanding purpose, you will just go and use alert boxes. Okay, so now our application requirement is working fine, and we have to give to the client, right? Who gave the requirement to that person, we have to give this requirement, right? While giving, we have to remove alert boxes. Why we have to remove alert boxes? Whenever you click on this button, it is showing it, you have enter into helper, you have to enter into this one, right? That is not meaningful. That is not meaningful to the client. So we have to remove all these things. So but console.log, no need to remove. Okay, entered into helper. Entered into helper. Where we will see, we'll discuss. Okay, where we will see, we will discuss. Now try to save this one. So we developed one lightning component. In this lightning component, we are using component plus controller plus helper. Now what I will do is, I will add this lightning component to my record page. So go to the lightning version. Okay, go to the lightning version. I will add this one to the record page. So we will add this one to the record page, or where we will add it? So as a tab also we will add it, in the communities, in the quick action, wherever you want, you can just go and add it. How means? By using these implements interfaces. Now we have developed one lightning component. That lightning component we are trying to adding to the record page. So why we are adding to the record page? Still my application is not completed, right? So we will just go and add it, and after that we will try to develop. We will add the debug statement, and we will try to develop our application. So once we add it, we will get an idea, right? How our lightning component is. So now go to here, cases or anything. Go to here, anywhere. Go to here, not cases. I will just go and take it as a leads or opportunity. Okay, opportunity. Go to opportunities, anywhere. Go to any record page. Go to any record page. This is my record page. Now I want to create a tab. Go to here, edit page. Why we are going into opportunity only means anywhere, wherever you want, you will just go and add it. We developed one lightning component, and we are adding this lightning component to the record page. Which record page? Here I'm adding to opportunity record page. Go to here, click on this one. When click on this one, in the right hand side here, you have to observe detail tab is there and related tab is there. Two tabs are there. Now what I will do, click on the add tab. Click on the add tab. Go to here, click on this one. We are trying to developing one custom tab. See here, we are trying to developing one custom tab. What is my tab name? Search accounts, right? Search account, or otherwise I will just make it as entity search. Entity search. Entity search. Okay, click on this one. Click on this one, entity search. This is my tab name. So in this tab, we have to add a lightning component. Where we will add? Where is our lightning component? See here, standard lightning components are standard functions, and custom is there, right? Scroll down here, custom is there, right? So what is our lightning component name? What is our lightning component name? Search lightning component underscore batch. Now scroll down here, search lightning component underscore batch, right? Search lightning component underscore batch, right? Just drag and drop. See, just drag and drop, and click on the save button, and click on this activation. Click on this activation. Now close this one. We developed one lightning component, and we added this lightning component to the opportunity record page based on my requirement. See, based on my requirement. Now go to this entity search. See, Now we are good, right? Enter account name, we are clear, right? Where is this account name? We have to search. Enter account name, this is colon. Yes, enter account name, this is colon, and this is a text box. This is a text box. You will just go and enter here. Once you will enter and click on the search button, what it will do, whatever you enter data, right, that data it will store into this particular variable. How it will store into this particular variable only means we are telling to this text box, boss, we declared one variable here, you have to store into this particular variable. Yes, it will store the data into this particular variable. Then what it will do, we are telling to this command button, once any user click on this command button, you have to go to the second item. Yes, where, what is the second item? My second item name is nothing but controller. In the controller we defined one function, my function name is nothing but this one. It will go to the second item. Yes, from the second item what we are doing, we are passing our request to the third item. The third item is nothing but what, helper. How means here, by using this reference only we are passing, right? By using this reference only we are passing. Suppose I will not use, there is no helper, suppose here I will not use helper, then what it will happen, what it will happen, the system it will ask, the system it will search for this particular function, where is this function, in the same second item only this function, where is this function, in the second item there is no function, then where is this function, so it is in the helper mode, helper. So I will just go and put like this, helper here, helper is there, right? Helper dot this one, helper dot this one. So we are telling to this second item, we have to pass your request to the third item. Third item where we have to pass into this particular function. In this function what we are doing, alert box here, alert box here we are using, and the console dot here we are using. So now we will just go and refresh this one. We will just go and refresh this one. See, click on this entity search. So click on this entity search. Test, click on the search button. See here, entered into helper, right? Entered into helper. For example, I want to get whatever user entered, right? That data I want to get. I want to get in the third item. How to get? Component dot, see here, component dot get of v dot component, right? In the first item only, right, we declared one variable. That variable name is nothing but such name, right? Component dot get of v dot such name. Entered input is, entered input is, entered into helper, and input is okay. Let's see, we will see both cases. Suppose we want to get whatever user entered the text, suppose I want to get in the second item or third item, how we have to get, how we have to get is nothing but by using components here. The reference for the first item is nothing but component, right? Plus this is inside this one we can write anything, it doesn't matter, plus component. In the first item one variable is there, that value you have to display. What is that variable name? Search name. Alert box, what is the difference between alert boxes and the console dot, we will see here. Okay, try to save this one. Now go to here, refresh this one. We have to refresh two times or three times, we have to refresh, then only it will take the latest data. See here, ABC, and click on the search button. See, entered input is ABC, right? We are fetching, right? So whatever user entered data, we are storing the variable, and that data I am trying to fetching into the second item or third item. How we are fetching? Component dot get of, remember the syntax, component dot get of variable, right? V dot which variable? This variable. Now go to here, right click this one, right click. So whatever our lightning component is there, go to there, right click on this one, inspect this one, inspect this one. Okay, inspect this one, source. Okay, source, console, go to your console, elements are there, console is there, source is there. Click on the search button. Once click on the search button, here you have to observe entered into helper and input is ABC, right? Input ABC, this is console. Console means that is a backend, it will not show to the client. Alert boxes in the sense means it will show in the UI. See here, click on the ABC means it is showing in the UI, right? So suppose you are one user, you are accessing this page, but what is this enter into input is ABC, what is, how it is relevant to our component, they don't know. So this is completely for our understanding purpose, but here you have to observe entered into helper and input is ABC, right? This is completely backend, it will not show to the client. So that's why while developing a lightning component or LWC, what they will do is they will use console.log. Console.log in the sense means in the backend it will produce. How it will produce means go to here. This is my lightning component, right? Right click on this one. Right click on this one. Click on the inspect. Click on the inspect. Once click on the inspect, here you have to observe element is there, console is there, source is there, network is there. Click on the console. Now go to here, click on the search button. See, click on the entered into input ABC. This is alert box. Once alert box is completed, this is a console.log, right? Entered into helper and input is ABC. So once our application is completed, then that time I will remove these alert boxes. That time we have to remove these alert boxes. Otherwise it will display to the client. Client will give what is this, all these things he will ask. So but console.log no need to remove, because of it is in the backend it will produce, right? So client doesn't know these consoles and all those things. Okay. Any questions up to now or any confusion? Please let me know. Okay. Okay. So in the client side, in the Aura component, how you debug? How you debug? By using alert box console.log. First we have to say console.logs, and alert boxes also we will use. But once we completed our lightning component, we are giving our lightning component to the client. That time we will remove alert boxes. Okay. So in the server side, how you will do the server side? Server side system.debug statement. Okay. System, we have to activate the debug logs, and we have to use system.debug statement. Okay. Now coming into here. So we are taking the data from the user, and user will enter data from the user. Click on the submit button. We are passing our request to the controller. From the controller we are passing our request to the helper, right? From the helper, what is our next step? Whatever user enter data, right, that data have to pass to the method, pass to this method is nothing but inside apex class. So the first one is, I will just go and declare one apex class. What is your apex class name? Any name, it doesn't matter, any name here. But here I am using my new apex class. My apex class name is nothing but search, like component, controller, any name. Here I am using batch 05. So any name, some meaningful name. So this is my apex class. What is my next step? I have to tell to the lightning component, boss, I developed one apex class, means we are going to implement business logic inside this apex class. How we are going to tell to this lightning component? Here we have to use controller attribute. Go to component. Here you have to use controller. Here. See here, controller. I'm using one attribute, that is nothing but controller. We are telling to the lightning component, boss, we are implemented business logic inside this apex class. You have to, whenever user click on the command button, it will go to the controller. From the controller or helper, you have to search in this class only. You have to search for methods are there, right? You have to search in this class only. So we are telling to this lightning component, we implemented business logic inside this particular apex class, then what is the next one? So this is my apex class. Generally in the apex class, where we write our business logic? Inside method only, right? Inside method only. Now go to here, where, what is my method name? Method name should be anything. See, public static void and account search account. This is my method name. So this method I want to expose to the lightning component, whether it is a Aura or LWC. How to expose? I will just go and use Aura enabled annotation. So we are telling to this method, boss, I will lightning component, whether it is LWC or Aura, anyone will use you. So how we are telling to this method? By adding this annotation. We are telling to this method, boss, anyone will use. Visual force page also it will use. Suppose I will not use anything, then what does that mean? From anywhere we can use it, anywhere. So we are telling to this method, if you want, you will just go and use from the visual force page. Not only visual force page, lightning component, Aura, LWC, from anywhere we will use. How we are telling to this method? By using Aura enable annotation, we are telling to this method. Whenever we are adding Aura enable annotation, suppose we are not using static, it will not accept. So this method is a static method plus public access modifier. Static method, return type should be anything, method name should be anything. So this method, which parameter it will take? Coming into here, So we are taking input from the user, right? Some text we are taking, right? That text we are storing, and we are passing our request to the second item. From the second item we are passing to the helper, right? From the help to the helper we are passing, right? From the helper, what we are doing, we are going into the server side, right? So in the server side, what we have to do, we have to perform some business logic. Based on which one we have to perform our business logic? Based on which one we have to perform our business logic? Okay, so based on which one we have to perform our business logic, based on this text only we have to perform our business logic, right? So this text I have to pass it, right? So this method is ready, because this method is calling from lightning component. While calling the lightning component, they will provide some information to me. Based on that information, I have to search, I have to work. So here what is the concept is, I'm writing this method. From where we will call this method? From the lightning component. Yes, while calling from the lightning component, we have to pass some input, right? So in this method, for this method we have to tell, boss, anyone will call this method, they will pass some information. Yes, that information is which type? String type I am taking. That is nothing but account name. This is my variable name. Variable name is anything. So anyone is calling this lightning component, they have to pass some information. That information is nothing but text. Here text is nothing but a string. So text is nothing but string. So this is my method name, this is my method name, this is my method name. And it will take this variable, it will take this variable. Now what we have to tell? Go to, one second, go to my third item, go to my helper, go to my helper. So go to my helper, then what we have to do? I have to call that particular method. How to call? Component dot call server side method. Server side method. So how to call? Component dot get of c dot, what is your method name? C dot search account. C dot search account. So we are calling this method. So whenever we are using component dot get c, in the sense means the system automatically search. Because we have to search in the Apex class. Apex class they defined one method, we have to search. Yes, this is Apex method. Apex method, it is fine. So this Apex method, it is receiving some parameter, right? How to pass that parameter? We have to go and declare variable. Variable action is there, right? AC action is there, right? Variable action. Okay. Is it mandatory to use variable name as action? No, it is not mandatory. We are calling one method. So for that method, we have to pass the parameters. For that method, we have to pass the parameter. That's why Aura is provided, Lightning is provided this syntax. First, you have to get a reference for this particular method. Then what is the next step? Add parameters. Add parameters or pass parameters to that particular method. Pass parameters to that method. To that method. How to pass? Action dot. So action, what is this action? Is that mandatory to use action? No, I will just go and use ABC also. No, but some meaningful name. Everyone will use action only. Okay. Action dot set param. Action dot set parameter. This is not exact syntax. No, it's recording, bro. It's recording. Okay. Action dot set params. Set params. I'm also not sure the exact syntax. We will copy from the Google. First, we have to understand the steps. Okay. Action dot set parameters. Yes. This method parameter is what? We have to use the same parameter name here. You have to use the same parameter. This is the parameter this method received. For this parameter, from where we have to get the data? Just now we stored, right? Where we stored? In the component level. In the component level, we declared one variable. That variable data you have to fetch it and you have to assign to this particular variable. This is a method. This method, it will receive parameter. For this method, we are passing the data which we stored temporarily in the component level. Yes, we are passing. Now what we have to tell to the method? Pass. Now we have to execute. Now we have to execute. How we are telling to this method? So now execute, run. Now run. You can start your work. Now you can. We have to tell to the method. We have to tell method. We have to tell method. Tell method. You have to start your process. You have to start your process. I am passing everything. Then you have to start your process. How we are telling? How we are telling is nothing but $A dot NQ action. This is not exact syntax. We will copy. See this one. Yes, the method it will execute. Now coming into this particular method. Yes, it is giving, and now the logic. What is the logic here? We have to select id name, and from account where name is equals to account name, right? Then what it will do? How many accounts it will give? One account it will give, or 10 accounts, or 100 accounts? We are not guaranteed, right? If we are not guaranteed, then what we will do? We will use set list or map. I will use a list here. List of account. Okay, list of accounts. Okay, list of accounts. Select id comma name from account where name is equals to this one, list of accounts. So finally this list of accounts only we have to give to the lightning component, right? So here it is passing some text. Yes, here it is performing the business logic. Finally it will perform the business logic, and what it will give? It will give account records. Which format it will give the account records? In the list format it will give, right? So what we have to do? Return list of accounts, right? Return list of accounts. So it is returning list of account. Then instead of void, what we have to do? List of account, right? List of account, right? So we are telling to this method, and the method it will start its execution, and it will query the records based on that data. How many records we are not guaranteed? That's why I'm using a list. Finally it will return this particular list. Now coming into helper, we are telling to this method you have to run. Once it is executed, then what it will do? What we want? So this method is executing. Boss, you are telling to me you have to run and you have to start the process. Yes, I started my process. I perform some operation. Finally, I have some result. I will give this result to you. See here, I will give this result to you. You have to receive that result. Then what we have to do? We have to receive that result. Receive the result. Receive the result. Okay, receive the result. How to receive the result? Okay, dollar action dot here we have one command, dollar action dot set callback. This is not exact syntax. We will copy from the next session. We will receive the response. Yes, we are receiving the response. Once we receive the response, what we have to do? Once we receive the response, this method is saying, boss, I perform some logic. You provided some input to me. Based on that input I worked. Finally I will give the result. This is the result. You have to take the result. Yes, once it will take, then again it will check whether it is giving the result or it is processed or not. So in between it is completed, that we have to check it. It is saying I am giving the result. That result, I mean, before taking the result we have to check again. It is processed. First of all, it is processed. I am asking, you process it? Yes, it is processed. Then only I will take the result. If it is not processed, then I will, it is like error only. So here what we have to do? First we have to check it. First check whether it processed our request or not. Whether it processed our request or not. Our request or not. Yes, yes, it is processed. How we will get is nothing but response dot get status. So variable status code, variable some status code is something. If it is success, if status is equals to success, then what we have to do? We have to get the result. Directly I will not take the result. First I have to verify you are giving the proper result or not. First I have to verify you are success, it is success or not. What about your state? You completed as success or everything it will capture. So that's why we have to check the status. If status is equal to success, then what we have to do? Response dot get a return value. What it will give? Response dot get return value. What it will give? It will give the list, right? It will give list of accounts, right? That list of accounts only we have to display to the user, right? That list of accounts only we have to display to the user, right? So what we have to do? That list we have to store into some variable. Variables are nothing but we will just go and declare the variables here. Aura colon attribute here, list of accounts and the type is equals to list is also there. In the next session again we will discuss. So list of accounts. Now what I will do, go to the helper, whatever the result is there, right? Component dot set. Here get we are using. Now in the component level we have one variable. In that variable, in that variable we are trying to setting v dot list of account, right? V dot list of accounts, v dot list of accounts. Here this result, whatever the result is there, right, I'm setting into that particular variable. So now we are taking the result, that result is finally in this particular variable. That result we have to display to the user. How to display the result to the user? We have page block table, data table is there, right? Here also some process is that by using that one we will display. So we are passing, see here, we are passing, first we are getting a status if success, and I'm taking the result. See, respond at get return value, that result I'm set. Here I'm using set. So which variable we are storing into this particular variable, that we'll discuss in the next session. Once we will store, then what we have to do by using page block table or data table we will display, that we'll discuss in the next session. This is for today.